All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros College Football Show. And yes, the first round of the college football playoff is just about upon us. Of course, we've got our official picks and predictions for all four of the matchups, plus the next wave of Coca-Cola bowl season games. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, coming off a fantastic day of handicapping while hearing the kind Amish gentleman working on my front porch. And we're also tapping into the big brain of a man who honestly maybe could pass as an Amish elder if he trimmed up that flow a little bit. He's Scott Big Time Bogman. Boggs, how are you as we begin another fantastic run in the CFP?
I am doing great, man. You know, look, my big bet of the week last week was Washington.
Yes,
obviously
not even
that
a
crushed for us. So that was great, and I'm watching your big bet of the games that we picked last week is currently on as we're recording. What's your number on this Old Dominion South Florida game?
I think I have a 54.5 point total under is what I'm at.
Only 10 points in the first quarter. So we like that, and no Byron Brown. Remember, I was on the over.
Yep.
If Byron Brown played, he decided to opt out. So South Florida only has 3 points now in the first quarter. So that bet is looking like it is going to sail to the under. So hopefully we can stick with that.
Also, a little Jack State covering for you yesterday, I think, as well. So, congrats
that was,
on that one.
By the chinny chin chin, that Hail Mary was pretty close, almost a connection there. So, but Jack State looked good last week as well.
Yeah, let me tell you what, I was contemplating all week whether I was going to go back to Jack State. I've bet on them so much this season. I was like, you know what? I'm just good missing on this last one. And then the way that game shook out, I was like, okay, I am fine that, it came through, but I was happy to sit on the sidelines for it. Today's show, Boggs, does look like this. We're going to get into all four CFP games and then the next four bowl games. Kind of a weird slate of bowl games, I will say. A lot of opt-outs, a lot of coaching changes. So just something to kind of keep in mind for you. But we still have a ton of bowl games left. Boggs, I don't know if you've looked ahead to your Texas Longhorns, but I already have a bet on them for a couple weeks from now. So looking forward to that one. And as always, shout out to everyone who is still pulling up a stool, joining us either on the Betting Pros YouTube channel or the audio feed. Thank you so much for all the support so far this season. The easiest free way to support us, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. You don't want to miss a moment of college football and NFL betting coverage the rest of the way. And if you want to win a signed A.J. Brown Philadelphia Eagles helmet for free, courtesy of our friends over at pristineaction.com, all you need to do to get invested with this is go to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either A, go ahead and download that free Betting Pros app, B, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, or C, subscribe to our social media channels. We are at Betting Pros on X and TikTok and at Betting Pros NFL on the Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you're going to receive, and we will, of course, announce a winner right here on the program, so make sure you ring the bell so you can be alerted when we have new shows up and to claim your prize if you are that lucky winner. Boggs, I don't know about you, but my entire life I was never a big giveaway winner. Like in school, they'd give away a free bike every year from Mr. Moneyman would come in with the school fundraiser or whatever. I was never that kid. I did win a giveaway a few years ago, an autograph framed Tyreek Hill jersey at the Fantasy Football Expo. Are you a big giveaway winner?
I am, actually. I have weird luck in raffles.
Really?
And not like the lottery. I played the lottery and never won that. Scratchers, also okay at. Not that's all just random luck. But for whatever reason, I come away with raffles. I remember winning my first one at 10.
Really?
I was at the Alvin Opry in Alvin, Texas, home of Nolan Ryan, by the way. And we were listening to a bunch of, awesome country music, and my aunt gave all of the kids a raffle ticket, right? There was 5 of us or 10 of us. There was a bunch of us there. But we all got a raffle ticket, and I won a cup. So
they
only drew 13 prizes, and there were 300 people there, and I won one of them. So I thought that was pretty funny. And I've done a lot of those classroom raffles. I would win it. I would also save, I would hoard whatever I had for those raffles to get the big ticket item. So a little bit of skewed luck there, of course. But yeah, I've been pretty good at raffles. I'll say this. It stops at whatever the raffle for the money at a baseball stadium is. Okay. I've never won one of those.
Okay. 50,
so if it's over, I think if it's over 500 people, that's where my luck stops. Okay. But under 500 people, giveaways, things like that, I do have okay luck at. I have to admit, I'm pretty good at those.
Okay. Well,
for whatever reason, whatever dumb luck.
Well, good to know, and good to know you're also employed by BettingPros, so you cannot enter these raffles. So come get it while Boggs is still employed, so you can still keep winning these. And we really appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and jump in, though, here. Scotty, there's been absolutely no line movement for a Friday night game in Norman, where the number 9 Alabama Crimson Tide, they are still 1.5-point favorites. We were seeing kind of flip-flopping across the board where they were favored, they were underdogs. We kind of always thought they would come in here as the favorites against the 8th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Bama, they have questionable their H-back. Josh Cuevas, also out for them is their RB3 Kevin Riley, their defensive end, and their left tackle. We also have some depth issues for them at cornerback. The Sooners, meanwhile, they're pretty good across the board. No new injuries to report on, except they may get back their running back, Javonte Barnes, who has missed most of the season, so I don't know if he'll get a full workload even if he's out there. BP projections right now, we have this at a pick'em, so I think I'm with them, Boggs. I do believe Bama is the better team. They're more well-rounded, I think. I think they're not going to get swept by OU, but their lack of a run game, it's real, man. They cannot run the ball really with anyone right now, and it feels like going up against one of the nation's best defenses, it gives me a little bit of hesitation. So how do you see this one going, Scotty?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my original thought process in this game, and I've listened to a lot of opinions on this game, on every game over the course of the last week. We've seen a lot of content come out about these games, of course, but I just stick to what we saw in the first game. And yes, we did see a bad performance by Alabama in that game. But offensively, it was a worse performance for Oklahoma. I mean, Bama had 406 yards, 212 for Oklahoma. That was 34-28 in possession at 25-32. OU had 6 punts and 5 penalties. There were only 4 punts and 2 penalties for Bama in that game. OU was 3 of 13 on third downs. If you look at the box score, you would have no idea that Alabama lost this game, right? And I think I'm going to stick with that. I will say it's not with, a mountain of confidence here.
Sure.
I think this is going to be a very razor-thin game, right? A big play, a big mistake, one way or the other, is going to be the difference in this game. And Alabama is a little bit more beat up, but I think they are the better team. So I think with extra time to prepare, I think Ty Simpson's going to play his best game in about a month here, and they are going to move to the next round. The next round will be tough for them against Indiana, but I do like them in this game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, Norman in a playoff game is going to be it's going to be a great atmosphere for them. So they do have that advantage, and I do expect this one to be razor thin, but I'm on the Crimson Tide here. And take it with a grain of salt because I hate the Sooners, but I do respect them, and they've had a great year. And I picked them against the Alabama the first time. So I'm going to go with Alabama this time. I just think this is going to be a different result.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Boggs. I really think probably Bama does slide out ahead, but I think, as you mentioned, it's razor thin, right? I see this one going 21-20. I think it's a low scoring. I think that total's kind of in the right place, but for me, I'm actually going to go with a teaser route for this, Boggs. I'm going to teaser this total up to 48.5, and I'm going to go under that for the first leg of this teaser, and then I'll talk about the second leg later on. But only 2 times has an OU game this season gone over 48.5 points. That was against Ole Miss and Tennessee, who I believe both have 2 of the best offenses in the country, especially because they're much more efficient with the run game and in the pass game as well than Alabama is. And Bama right now, they haven't cleared this total in 4 of their last 4 SEC games. Only 2 of their 9 conference games this season have gone over this total. So I just don't see this being a shootout, specifically being in Norman. I think also will help Oklahoma. The only way I think Oklahoma gets the win, Boggs, is if John Mateer capes up. And I just don't know
if he has
can
that
do
Texas
that.
game.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like the play on this under as well. I think, Alabama is very one-dimensional, as you mentioned. They pass the ball a lot. They haven't had an effective run game, so it does make them easier to attack. So, I like the undercall in this one as well. I think this is played pretty tight.
If Justice Haynes was here, I think this would be a really different Alabama team this season. I think they could be like legitimately like championship contenders. But without him, yeah, I'm good on it. And a reminder as well that with this college football playoff action starting on Friday, December 19th, the Betting Pros are going live for it. Yes, join myself and Scott Bogman, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, for the first half betting live stream as number 8 Oklahoma takes on number 9 Alabama in Norman. We're tracking line movement in real time, breaking down live odds, and calling out bets as the game unfolds. Get in before kickoff and catch us live on the Betting Pros YouTube channel right here where you always are, or also over on the Fantasy Pros Twitch channel at twitch.tv/fantasypros. And if you want to comment, make sure you're going over there to the Twitch channel because we can only bring up Twitch comments. So just something to keep in mind there, but we really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Really excited for that one, Bog. It's going to be really a great Friday, especially because I feel like that is almost like the official start of the holiday season, right? Where a lot of people take all their PTO the week of Christmas. You and I don't get that pleasure, right? We're still in the trenches
we're going to be
here.
working.
But it really just feels like it's a celebration, especially of the sport that we love so much.
Yeah, it's first playoff game of this tournament that a lot of people are calling weird. I love it.
I do too.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to stream live. It's always fun. I do the live streams with Welsh on playing Madden every single Tuesday. I do that on ITL on Thursday Night Football as well for my subscribers on my Patreon over there. So I'm a veteran of live game stuff. Hopefully we can get our times to sync.
Yes.
That's going to be big on our stream here. Seth, you got the upgraded internet. Like we're ready to rock and
Shout
roll.
Shout out Starlink.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get everything going. So I am absolutely excited for that. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it. And before we get to that, though, we have a bunch more games to break down, Boggs. And it starts where we actually haven't also seen a ton of line movement in College Station for the noon showdown with the 10th-ranked Miami Hurricanes, still between a 2.5 and 3.5 point dog to the 7th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Miami, they are expected to get back their nickel cornerback, Keontae Scott. This guy is a stud, and he's been out really for most of the back half of the season, suffered an injury in early November. A&M, their only question mark on the injury front is whether running back Le'Veon Moss will return after missing the last 8 games. I don't know if he will or won't. Like I think that might have been a season ender, but I appreciate the gamesmanship from Mike Elko in this one. BP projections right now, we have this line at 2.5 points. So Boggs, do you still see value on the Canes at anything over a field goal?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's Miami here, man. I think they went on the road, and it's weird to take the 2 road teams when you work all year to get this home field advantage, and I'm kind of throwing it out the window. But my concern with A&M, and again, this is going to be a very close game where mistakes are going to be the name of the game, right? But I think what we saw with A&M was they played a baby soft schedule in the SEC until they faced Texas, and Texas kind of exposed them. Now, maybe I'm overreacting to this game. We've seen some tough games from Miami earlier this year as well, but I think really they've gelled down the stretch. I don't trust Mario Cristobal very much, right? But I don't trust Elko either in a game big spot like this. And I really think it's going to come down to which defense makes a bigger impact, right? I'm going to go with Ruben Bain and Akeem Ezador. Like, I think these guys are going to tilt the favor into Miami's hands. We've seen Marcel Reed make some mistakes when he's pressured. Now, look, we've also seen him, pull that ball down and run out the gate for long touchdowns, right? Sure. So he can make some big plays in this game. I'm not trying to take that away. That's why this game is a field goal game for the team at home, the team that only lost 1 game this entire season, right? But I do think Texas is kind of built similarly to Miami. Very good defense, specifically on the defensive line. And I think when you put pressure on Marcel Reed and force him into mistakes, you can take advantage of that. Now, Carson Beck makes massive mistakes as well. And we've seen him do this in crunch time. Mm-hmm. So he's not above, he's not above reproach here at all.
Yeah.
There are definitely downsides to him, but he has been... I think with all of his experience, he is going to be way more calm. I feel like all the pressure, because Miami just snuck in, right? I feel like all the pressure is on A&M. It's battered Aggie syndrome. It's a home game, right? It's all of this pressure is on the Aggies. It's like, okay, we spent all of this money. Mm-hmm. We got our coach. Now we have to win. I could easily see a letdown. Miami's a very good team to face in the first round. I mean, just beat Texas and you have a bye week, A&M. But this is the nature of the beast, and I think that loss to Texas is really going to end up hurting them in the end. And I am a Texas fan, so again, take that with a grain of salt if you wish, but I'm trying to speak from a neutral spot here, right? Where I just saw them get exposed a little bit. They got exposed against South Carolina in the first half as well. Now, Marcel Reed is good enough to make that comeback, right? Is he able to do that against a Miami defense if they get down? I just doubt it. So I'm going to take Miami in this game.
Man, this
straight up and plus the points.
This just feels like, when you're at that point in your life where you have a toxic ex, and then you get involved with another relationship. Turns out they're also a toxic person as well. And then you have two toxic exes. Like, that's how I feel because, like, Carson Beck, I can't trust this guy in a big spot, man, especially against an SEC defense, albeit one of the softer ones. And, like, kind of same with Marcel Reed, right? Like, what has Marcel Reed ever done in a big game? He had his biggest game a couple weeks ago against Texas, and he kind of folded like an origami, right? And, credit to him for coming back against South Carolina back there earlier in November. But I don't know, man. This one's really tough because I love Miami, like, in this spot. Like, I really do. Like you said, they're playing with house money, nothing to lose. Malachi Toney, I think, is maybe the best offensive player on the field, which is crazy because this guy's like 18 years old, right? But I also think they have the best front or one of the best fronts in college football in Miami. So I do lean Miami. I just can't bet it, man. I have a roll. I don't go back. I was burned by Carson Beck midseason with Georgia last year, and I said I'll never bet on Carson Beck again. I got to follow through at least for one more game here.
Well, look, you have 2 games at most left for Carson Beck because the winner of this game is going to get to play Ohio State. I mean, in the Cotton Bowl, so A&M would have, a nice home field.
Let's go. I need Miami to win so I can fade them next week. That's what we're doing, baby.
Yes, I feel the same way. So,
all right, well, let's go ahead and move forward where things remain really, really quiet on the odds front for a 3:30 matchup in Oxford, where the number 6 Ole Miss Rebels, they host their first college football playoff game to date as 17 to 17.5 point favorites over the 11th seed Tulane Green Wave. Tulane, they should have everybody up for this game. Ole Miss should also be at full health. They also got 4 assistant coaches back that Lane Kiffin allowed to return to prepare for this game. BP projections right now, we have this line at nearly 20 points. So are you willing to lay at least 17.5 points with the Rebs in their first game under Pete Golding?
No, I'm not. I'm back in Mississippi again here. This game was 45-10. I know that there are extenuating circumstances with the coaching staff, obviously, but Charlie Weiss coming in, I think, is going to just keep this flowing for at least another week against Tulane. If they were playing Miami, if they were playing A&M, if they were playing Oregon, I feel like I want to pick against Ole Miss, but it's gonna have to wait until next week when they go play Georgia, right? I don't think that this game is going to be particularly close. In the last matchup, again, it was a while ago, and Tulane has gotten better. I would say Ole Miss has gotten better since this game as well, though. Tulane held the ball longer, and they had 282 yards to 548. The biggest difference in this game is that Tulane's defense is not going to be able to stop Ole Miss, even without Lane Kiffin, right? I just think Chambliss is too much. I think Lacey is too much. I think that this defensive line is obviously good enough to hold Jake Retzlaff in the passing game. They had 104 yards passing in the game. Last time they went for it on 3 fourth downs. They were 0 for 3. I don't see the path to Tulane making this a close game. So it's going to be Ole Miss in a walk for me. This one is not going to be very close.
Yeah, man. Retzlaff's a fun story, right? Goes to BYU, has a magical season out there with the Cougars. Then, who knows what happened in the offseason. He ends up here at Tulane because of it and takes them on a wild run into the CFP. So good for Jake Retzlaff. It is. But I just think this Ole Miss defense is too good, and he's going to really struggle against them. He struggled against some of the top defenses in the Big 12 a year ago. So for me, I'm going to actually opt for the Ole Miss alt line minus 13.5 Boggs. And with some of these boosts that we're going to see get out there over the weekend, this is minus 164 right now. I bet you can probably get a 50-50 boost on that. So you could probably get this for around minus 125, minus 130, something like that. That's going to be my play. I just don't want to go anything over 2 touchdowns in this one just because it is a little weird. But like you said, Charlie Weiss Jr., who, gotta say, every time I see this guy, he's just like a skinny version of his dad, right?
Yeah.
He looks just like him. Luckily, he's obviously been in the gym a bit more than old senior was, right? But, credit to Ole Miss for maintaining some identity. And I just think, like, at the end of the day, someone like Trinidad Chambliss, whether he's auditioning for a new program or not, or whether he's going to stay committed to Ole Miss, he's got a lot to play for. And when you have one of the best backs in the entire country, I don't think that's going to get stopped by what, in my opinion, is not the best team in the G5 in Tulane, despite them being here.
And we keep talking about the distractions that Ole Miss has had with Lane Kiffin. John Summerall's leaving as well.
Sure.
When the clock's at 0 in this game, he's out the door to Florida. So, that obviously has to affect Tulane a little bit as well. Mm-hmm. So, like, if this was just Lane Kiffin leaving and that was it, and you have this team singularly focused on this game, then great. But there's a lot of guys that are going to leave Tulane as well, maybe going to Florida, maybe going to other programs. So I just think both teams could be distracted, and I'm going to lean on talent. And we've already seen this game once. It was dominated by Mississippi. It's got to be Ole Miss for me.
Is there a big pipeline between Tulane and LSU? Like, I would just assume there is, but
probably. I haven't looked up the history of it, but sure. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, so. I just feel like these Tulane players are going to get picked off. I mean, most good G5 players really do in this college football environment.
They go for more money. They get more money.
I just think, there's a guy in Lane Kiffin who he might have his eyes on this game. Not only
didn't he post the Trinidad flag the other day as well?
Yes. Yeah, so I don't only think he'll be rooting for his former team, but I also think he'll be scouting potentially some Tulane Green Wave players to make a potential small offer to in the portal.
I got to be honest, Chambliss should go to LSU, right? Like, you came up from Division II, and Lane Kiffin put you in and kept you there at that spot. Why wouldn't you go?
It's a Cam Ward story,
if he's getting
right?
an offer. So what's that?
It's like a Cam Ward story, right?
Keep moving. Go where the money is and what is going to boost your NFL stock the most. And I don't think sticking at Ole Miss would. I think going to LSU and being impressive there would help him out a lot. Now, going to Ole Miss and getting benched, or going to LSU and getting benched, though, that would hurt you a lot as well. So he does have a decision to make, for sure.
Got to take care of the family, right? Got to take the family. Just like old Vince. Slipping. The guy from Fast and Furious. Who am I thinking of?
Oh, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. There
family.
You go. Family.
Family.
I want to say Vince Vaughn at first, but that would be a little bit of a weird position there.
I can only think of inappropriate Vince Vaughn lines to say, so I won't say any of them.
Fair enough. We have the spread somewhat shrinking for a Saturday night showdown in Eugene with the 5th seed Oregon Ducks laying between 20.5 and 21.5 points on the 12th seed James Madison Dukes. JMU at full strength. Oregon's wide receivers, Gary Bryant Jr., DeCorian Moore, and even Evan Stewart, who has been out all season with a knee injury, they were seen pre-practice stretching on Monday. No confirmation whether they'll be up or not, but take that for what it's worth. The media only got to see 15 minutes of that practice. We did see Bryant Jr., Moore, and Stewart all out on the field. BP projections right now, we have this line under 16 points, so without movement, I think there's still some value on the Dukes, but Boggs, you wanted to see this maybe go the other way, see if we could get a 23.5, maybe a 24.5. We didn't. Are you willing to get invested at 21.5?
This game I think I'm probably out on. I don't like 21.5 points, but I can tell you there's just not a chance that I would take James Madison here. I don't care how many points it is, really. I think that Oregon specifically, if they get all three of those, if Evan Stewart plays in this game too, which would be shocking. I guess not shocking for the time that he's missed, but it would be surprising to see him get up. But hey, give him a handful in this game because you don't really need him to beat JMU. And, keep him healthy for the next 2 games. I think that's what you would want, like get him back acclimated in this one. But this is just a massive difference in talent level to me. Like, Oregon, just one of your better rosters. Their roster strength is 13th in the nation right now, 63rd for JMU. Great Sunbelt team, very fun team. But 8-5 against the spread. Oregon was also 8-4, right? Obviously, the strength of schedule much more difficult for Oregon. 38th to 109th for James Madison.
Sure.
Statistically, better almost everywhere outside of like total defense. And again, you can see the difference in the strength of schedule there between these two teams. We saw JMU play Washington State close, and that was a home game. The level of difference that you are stepping into between Oregon and Washington State is at least 21.5 points. So I know they won that game. They also had a nice pick 6 in that one to seal it. I think if they don't get that, they probably don't beat Washington State. Oregon is leaps and bounds better than that team. There's a lot on the line. Again, Chesney on his way out going to UCLA as well. Dan Lanning is reaffirmed. Dan Lanning even shot down NFL rumors this week. I don't know if you heard about that, but he said, I used to have it up on my board of accomplishments, and I've taken it off because I love this job at Oregon so much. Now, whatever, coach speak, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But he wants to win a natty at Oregon before he does anything else in his career, and I think that is what he's going for here. I think they're the most dangerous team playing in this round right now, and I don't think this game is going to be close at all. I understand the crying that people have about, like, these aren't the 12 best teams and all that. I have no issues with JMU being in over Notre Dame. Is Notre Dame a better team? Yeah, they probably are. Win your games then, and schedule harder and win games. So I would have been saying the same thing if they decided to put Notre Dame in over Miami. I'd be saying the same thing there. Is this going to be a close game? No. Is it going to be an entertaining game? Probably not, unless you're betting on the over or under of Oregon's team total and JMU's under. It's not going to be a particularly close game. I think it's going to get ugly, but JMU deserves to be here. They won the games in front of them. So I like it. I hope that it's closer than I'm saying. It's not going to be. Oregon is going to beat down this team going into the next round.
I think what you think of this game and what you think of James Madison really depends, like, where are they on the, like, actual national level? Because we've seen teams like Washington who at least stayed in the fight against them for a little while, right? Didn't put up a ton of points, but stayed in the fight, kept it somewhat close within a score or two for most of that game. And what did they have success doing? Well, running the ball, right? And you look at what Iowa did that one day out there in Iowa City when the Ducks came to town and a lot of people had them on upset alert, myself included, right? What did they do? Well, they ran the ball pretty well, right? Gronowski got out. He got in for a score. We saw Moulton go for 87 yards as well. I think that's kind of the recipe for JMU here.
They held the ball too, 33-20 in
that
game.
And so for me, this is my second leg of that teaser I brought up earlier. Again, that first leg, Alabama versus Oklahoma. I'm going under 48.5. The second leg, I'm taking JMU plus 28.5 points. That is where I'm going. This is giving me minus 135. I have multiple units on it. This is my favorite bet of the week here, Boggs. And really,
that's over 4 touchdowns, though. I mean, that's significantly higher than the line. So
yes.
I think, if you're going to put a bunch of units on it, alter to that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just think with Oregon, in my mind, I really don't think those receivers are playing, or I just at least don't think, maybe Bryant comes back and plays because it seems like his injury was less worse than Moore, who missed pretty much all the last 4 games of the season. And of course, Evan Stewart, who missed the entire season. I don't think they bring them back at least at a full capacity for this game.
And they don't need them. They won't have to have them.
Exactly. So I think with that, and what's Oregon had success with lately? It's been running the ball with Noah Whittington and then check down to Sadiq. That's really kind of been their offense the last few weeks. So I just don't see a lot of explosion in this game unless it's someone like Noah Whittington taking off for a 60-yard house call, which he can do that. He has those wheels. But I just think JMU, they like to run the ball. They're going to burn some clock here and not let Oregon get over 20.5. So that's my play. I'm going with a teaser bet. We'll see how this goes. And that's what I'm rocking and rolling with there. So, all right, Boggs, and let's go ahead and get to the bowl games that are also happening over the next week or so. And it starts with maybe one of my favorite bowls in particular, which is the Myrtle Beach Bowl, of course. This is coming with Kennesaw State and Western Michigan. Western Michigan, of course, being that MAC champion at 9-4 overall. Kennesaw State, they are also a champion of their conference, coming out of Conference USA after just honestly coming out of the FCS not too long ago, right? So Kennesaw State, they come into this one after a really nice comeback victory over Jacksonville State in that title game. Western Michigan controlled pretty much the entire game against Miami, Ohio in that MAC championship game. They also beat their rival Eastern Michigan the week prior, and now they have 5 straight wins. So it's been a really strong season for Western Michigan. You know how I feel about this run game, Boggs. I think it is fantastic. However, we do have some opt-outs that could potentially, and some injuries that could potentially hurt Western Michigan. First of all, their defensive end, Nadami Tucker, he is potentially opting out. We also then have running back Jaden Buckley. He hurt his hand in that MAC, or before that MAC title game. I'm expecting he probably will still be up for this one. And then on the opt-out side for Kennesaw State, we have their cornerback Caleb Offord, who I'm expecting he is going to play. Is that what we're hearing, Boggs?
Yeah, the All-Conference USA. Yeah.
Okay. And then that is actually Jericho Washington.
Yeah, Jericho. He's going to play for sure.
Okay.
He's transferring, but he's going to play the bowl game. So.
Okay. And then no real big injuries that haven't been new for Kennesaw State. So pretty much what you see is what you get with these type of games right here, Boggs. I love Western Michigan because I love their defense. I love what they've been doing this season with the ground and pound style. However, it scares me here because we've talked about it before on this show, Boggs. They typically get behind in games, right? Western Michigan, aside from that MAC championship game, usually it's to claw their way back. Kennesaw State, a very lethal passing offense, one of the best pass catcher receiver combos coming out of the entire G5 area of the country. So I don't want to get invested with this one. Do you have a play?
Yeah, I like the under in this game more than anything. And I also like Kennesaw State as well. It's been a miracle season for them, right? They won their conference. They're in a nice bowl game here against another conference winner in Western Michigan as well, and they have been clicking with Odom at the helm. And we haven't heard anything about edge rusher Nadame Tucker yet playing in this game. It looks like he's going to play, but that would be a massive loss. He was huge. He was by far their best defensive player for Western Michigan if he doesn't play. And, the guy's going to the draft. He shouldn't be playing in this game, but he may want to finish out with his teammates, and we've heard nothing yet. So I'm going to assume that he's going to play here. But my main concern for Western Michigan is exactly what you mentioned, Seth. It's if Kennesaw State moves early, 24th highest pace in the country this year, if they score the ball and move the ball early, I don't think that Brock Lowry has the chops to play catch-up in this game against Kennesaw State. So that's why I like Kennesaw State. However, the defense is so good for Western Michigan. Right. I do think that this is going to be a lower scoring game. This is, Western Michigan's offense is slow moving, grind you down, score in the fourth quarter. But if you're not getting that and you have to pass, Brock Lowry has 7 passing touchdowns this year. He has 14 rushing touchdowns. So this is basically a triple option that Western Michigan is running here. So, I like the under. Western Michigan drags teams in the mud. They haven't allowed more than 12 points since the end of October, and only Miami, Ohio, and North Texas put up more than 21 on them the entire season. We saw Jacksonville State slow down Kennesaw a bit, and I think Western Michigan will be able to keep them low, but also have issues struggling themselves. So the under is my favorite in this game. The total right now, 49.5. We have it at 43.7. So we're significantly under that total. And I like Kennesaw State to win the game, but my play here is going to be the under, 49.5.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right play. Like, the only thing that Kennesaw State can't have happen is to just have Western Michigan's run game go wild on this one, right? Because their rushing attack has really been what's feeding this offense, and Kennesaw State 102nd in rushing defense. However, they handled themselves with Cook, right? Like they stayed out there with Jacksonville State, who has a really lethal run game as well. So I think you might be
and
on
they
the
can
right
catch
side
up.
Of this one. Yes,
Kennesaw can catch up if they get
yep,
behind. Western Michigan cannot. So even if they're grinding them down for 3 quarters, they have enough burst plays for Kennesaw State to get back in that game if it's low scoring.
And a Friday filled with college football continues at the Gasparilla Bowl for Memphis versus the NC State Wolfpack. This is at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Right now, we are seeing Memphis really anywhere from a 4.5 point dog all the way to a 5.5 at some books as well. So a lot of movement still happening with this one. And part of that movement probably does have to deal with the coaching changes in this one. Ryan Silverfield, of course, he's leaving for the Arkansas job. That will mean Reggie Howard will serve as the interim. He is the DB coach. Hey, DB coach is speaking up here from a Penn State fan. Not too bad as an interim. But we also have the Huff Daddy, Charles Huff, who will be likely in the building for this one. He's coming from Southern Miss. He was at Marshall the year before. He will be the new head coach for Memphis moving forward. Kind of a bit of an odd hire to me, honestly, just because, he's only been with a couple programs for a year or so and then he jumped ship. But Memphis right now, their injuries. Brendan Lewis, their quarterback, he's been hit or miss all season long as far as availability, as far as what he's going to be as far as 100% or not. And then they do have a stud right tackle in Travis Burke, who missed their finale game, and a couple cornerbacks who have been out really for the last month or so. We are expecting for NC State most of their potential opt-outs to be in and play for this game with who's healthy. They have a couple 2 deep members and a couple of people in that the defensive back room who are going to be banged up for this one, though, does NC State. So, Boggs, this is another one where if we had all the coaching staffs, if we had all the players, I think this would be a really fun game. I just don't know if I can trust Memphis in this spot, particularly with how they played kind of down the stretch, right? Like losing to Navy, lost to East Carolina. They didn't look great at times against Tulane. So I just think I'm okay on missing this one. What side of the boat are you getting in on, though?
Yeah, I'll be on the Wolfpack here, and I think you're right. I think the wheels have come off for Memphis at the end of the season here. They lost 3 straight. They really seem to have let the wind come out of their sails when they lost to Tulane. ECU and Navy beat them after that game. Ryan Silverfield left to take the Arkansas job, and now it's a one-off. With Charles Huff being hired with their interim coach here. Doran has everybody back, and it looks like, but I'll say this, his record in bowl games is 3-6 since joining NC State, with 5 straight losses as well. I think this one can be different, though, for NC State. That it really looks like they're getting a lot of players to stay, like Washington did, but because we haven't heard like Smothers leaving and a lot of those other guys leaving quite yet. I'm going to lay the points and take the team that seems to be the most intact still. Memphis quarterback Brandon Lewis, like you said, has been playing at less than 100%, and the roster might see some opt-outs or phantom injuries with the change at head coach for Memphis as well. So I'll take the Wolfpack and lay the points here. It's 4.5. So anything less than a touchdown, I think I'm good on NC State here.
Okay, let's get to the Smurf Turf, which will be buzzing in Boise for the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on Monday, December 22nd, 2 p.m. Eastern Times. This one, we have the 6-6 Washington Cougars there, 1.5 to 2.5 point dogs to the 6-6 Utah State Aggies. Wazoo, they had a really solid 6-6 season in what remained of the Pac-12, and honestly, Boggs, I'd say they had a pretty freaking tough schedule, right? San Diego State, North Texas, Washington, Ole Miss, Virginia, Toledo, JMU. So it wasn't like they were playing a bunch of cupcakes this year, and their defense was particularly strong, ranking 14th against the pass, 29th against the run, and I really like this Washington State team on that defense because they get a ton of pressure on the quarterback, they limit big plays at a top 40 rate. Wazoo's head coach, Jimmy Rogers, though, he has left for Ames in the wake of a certain coach over there getting hired. Welcome to Happy Valley, baby. We appreciate you. And
Matt Campbell.
Yes, sir. I am super excited for that.
Great hire for being as late in the process.
It is. It saved it. It really did save it. And also, we probably will see more players jump into the portal after that. But right now, we do have questionable to play in this game. Their cornerback, Kenny Worthy, their linebacker, Anthony Polano, and their wide receiver, Tony Freeman, who's been a bit of a jolt of energy for this team. Also questionable with injury is their center, Brooke Dayu, and their wide receiver, Carter Patel. So Utah State right now, they were 6-6 on the season. Pretty middling Mountain West team in Bronco Mendenhall's first season at the helm. Their offense was really, though, firing on all cylinders under Bryson Helm, who had 18 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions through the air. Also added another 700-plus yards on the ground, 9 scores as well with his legs. The defense, though, absolutely terrible. Outside the top 100 in almost every single metric. So they're going to be without their leading wide receiver, Braden Pagan, who hit the portal after going over 900 yards. Their tight end one, Brock Lane, also questionable with an injury. BP projections right now, we have this actually flipped with Wazoo favored by 4, but that was before the Jimmy Rogers news. So, Boggs, this is one of those bowl games where it's just a bit too much uncertainty for me to want to get involved with. I think if I were to get involved, though, it would be with Washington State. I think they're the better team. I just don't know how much the head coach leaving has the impact on this program.
How about the total, Seth? You see the total?
Do you like the under?
52.5. It has to be the under, right? Washington State's defense has been good all year. Utah State is losing their number one wide receiver, and Wazoo did a good job against James Madison this year, right? Like we talked about that a little bit earlier when we talked about James Madison. So the DC Bobbitt is taking over as well. He will leave to go with Jimmy Rogers to Iowa State after this game. So I don't want to trust a side in this game. Like I think that it could easily be a Utah State win. They are 10-2 against the spread this year as well. We like that way better than their 6-6 record. So we like that spread record for them for sure. But I like the under here. Obviously, it's not as bad as last year for Washington State when everybody left, but it's not ideal, specifically late in the process. But you combined the strong defense and the fact that Pagan is leaving Utah State as a number one wideout. I just think Washington State is going to keep this slow and struggling here. Their pace this year was 129th. Utah State's was 25th, right? But I just think that Washington State is a team that grinds their opponent down. They hold on to the ball. And they make it hard to move. I think that's going to happen. I think they're going to get after the quarterback here. And I think Washington State at least keeps this game to lower than 52.5. So I'm going to go under on this game.
I think it's sharp. I think that's probably the right move in this one if you are going to put some US dollars down on it. It just like Utah, honestly, like I'm not a big Mountain West bettor, and I really just don't know how to handicap Utah State. If I'm going to be frank with you, Boggs, is like because like when I've watched them this season, they put up points like most of the Mountain West does, right? So it just kind of scares me. But I do agree. I think the best overall unit in this game is that Washington State defense. So I would want to lean that way with you there.
Mountain West is the Big 12 of the G5.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I think it's a great comparison. I think that's spot on there. And also the following day at 2 Eastern time is an ACC MAC clash in the Boca Raton Bowl from FAU Stadium. The 8-4 Toledo Rockets, they opened as 9.5-point favorite or underdogs, but they have now moved under a touchdown to 6.5. Toledo, arguably, I think, had the top G5 defense in the country. They finished third in total defense. The Rockets were 6-2 in the MAC, 8-4 ATS this season. In the final year of the Jason Candle era, he is left for the UConn job. Still, I know everyone, kind of poo-pooed me on Twitter, but I don't know if the UConn job is that much better than the Toledo job. You can say what you want about it, but they will be without their defensive end, Malachi Davis, who hit the portal. Potential opt-outs also include for them their top 4 defensive backs, their running back, Chip Trayanum, who was just a monster this year, over 1,150 yards. Their leading receiver, Junior Vandecross III, plus their starting left tackle, Carter Foley, is questionable with an injury. Louisville, meanwhile, they were also a very strong defensive team, at least from ACC standards, coming off a season that looked very promising at the start. They fell apart late, though, going 4-4 in conference play. Also 4-4 ATS record down the stretch. really due to Miller Moss, and I would say this overall offensive inconsistencies that we saw. They could be without their top 3 running backs, including Isaac Brown, who's a monster. Their stud wide receiver, Chris Bell, he is also out with an injury after going for over 900 yards this season. 2 of their starting defensive linemen have opted out. Also, their top linebacker questionable. BP projections right now, we have this at 5 points, but Boggs, it's just another one, man. Like, there's too much happening here for me to want to get involved.
This one I hate. I really do not like this game. So,
and I love Toledo. You know me. I'm the Rockets
I
guy.
know, but they're missing pieces here, specifically on defense, right? Potentially. We'll see when we get there. But McNeil Warren is he's going to the Senior Bowl. I don't know why he would play in this game. Mm-hmm. They've already had to opt out of one of their defensive ends as well. So they are missing pieces. But Louisville might be down their top 3 running backs, right? Yeah. And no Chris Bell in this game either. So I think we're going to have a low score in this game. Louisville is down, maybe their top 3 running backs. Toledo's offense has looked nice this year behind Tucker Gleason, but this MAC schedule was super soft. Mm-hmm. Their strength of schedule is 121st. They played a soft defensive schedule even by MAC standards. WKU had the 48th highest scoring offense, but the next highest MAC offense they faced was 85th in scoring in Miami. Louisville is also missing 2/3 of their defensive line. Conga and Bailey opting out. Cleve Lubin, who led them in snaps on the defensive line, is a maybe right now. So I think it's going to be a closer game than it should be in terms of roster strength with those major losses to Louisville. Toledo is punching up with and doing it without their head coach as well. So it's just a difficult game for me to pick. But I think if we're getting more than a touchdown, if we're not getting more than a touchdown, like I'm not taking Louisville, right? Mm-hmm. But if we're not getting 7.5, I'm alting this to 7.5. I want it over a touchdown for Toledo. Also, don't hate going under, but this total of 44.5 might be too low. So I want to find something to get invested here. I'm going to alt this to 7.5 and take Toledo with all those opt-outs for Louisville. I just think it's going to be too much, and I don't think they're going to get a running back to play in this game either, so they're probably going to be fairly one-dimensional. So maybe Toledo sticks with them, maybe not. This is not my favorite game. This is, if I'm in my bowl confidence group, this one's way at the bottom for me. I do not like this game.
I just think there are different levels of head coach departures. Like, we've talked about a ton tonight, man, and I just think, like, Jason Candle, he's been the institute, right? Like, say what you want. Yeah. He's not the most emotional guy, and he's not a big rah-rah guy that's going to get the media fired up with a bunch of quotes. I mean, I don't know how many quotes are coming out of Toledo Weekly anyways, but, I mean, 11 years there. Yes, should he have won some more MAC championships? He only had 2, yes, but he was so dang consistent every single year, it felt like. So I just feel like this is a really big loss for Toledo. Therefore, I can't get invested with them, but I do agree with you that I think without some of these stars for him, like Vandecross is really good. Their running game certainly took a big step forward this year when a lot of people were thinking it was not going to as well. So I just think without their starting running back out there in Chip, is that I can't get invested here, but I think the under is probably my favorite lean. Boggs, better job, UConn or Toledo?
Probably UConn slightly, but
I don't know. Conference. Find a conference. I'm tired.
I don't know if I uproot my life to go to UConn. I think I would probably have waited another year for a better job to open.
Listen, I've been to Connecticut, beautiful state, love the shore up there.
Yeah. I mean, if my guy John Lobb heard me saying this, he would be very upset with me. But because he's a big UConn guy and a UConn grad, so I have a lot of respect for UConn. I do think it's a slightly better job. I also think living in Connecticut's way better than living in Toledo.
Cheaper cost of living in Ohio, baby. And it's
okay.
Blue collar out here. We're
better
blue
chance
collar,
to get
Jason.
Stabbed as well. So, you know.
Hey, easy now.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Yes.
JK.
We head to the Big Easy next for the New Orleans Bowl, kicking off from the Superdome on December 23rd at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I've been pretty gun-shy on some of these bowl games so far in this slate. Not in this one where we have the 8-4 Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. They're 4.5 to 5.5 point favorites over the 7-5 Southern Miss Golden Eagles. It was another really solid season for WKU. They finished third in Conference USA, 6-2 in conference play, also 9-3 ATS. WKU once again led by the air raid, ranking 24th in passing. They did have to switch quarterbacks to Rodney Tisdale Jr. midway through the season.
Is it Ricky Tisdale?
That might be Ricky Tisdale. I think you got me on that one. I think you got me on that one. Their starting cornerback Dylan Flowers though, and their RB2 Lavelle Wright are hitting the portal. Southern Miss, meanwhile, they would have likely been without their starting cornerback Josh Morton.
Oh, you're right.
Due to an opt-out, and Blake Bustard with an injury. And now they also had Charles Huff, who just signed a deal with Memphis in the last week. So maybe some more portal opt-outs over the past week that we are not aware of right now, Bog. So this is one, keep your head on a swivel for if we do see more Southern Miss players planning not to play. However, like I just got to be honest with you, man. Like I think these are two really evenly matched teams as far as all the metrics go, dude. I just think that WKU, they finished the season really strong. Yes, it was 2 straight losses, but they were to LSU and Jacksonville State. They lost by a combined 6 points, handled themselves really good down there in Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. Southern Miss, they've lost 3 in a row to end the season to Texas State, Southern Alabama, and Troy. Troy's really the only decent G5 team in that mix. Then we had the Huff departure, right? And this is just after 1 year, so I think it's a bit of chaos there, right? Because they just brought him in. Now he's gone. Blake Anderson, the offensive coordinator, he is elevated to permanent head coach for 2026 and beyond. WKU 4-2 in bowl games under Tyson Helton, with just only one of those losses coming to JMU, arguably a top 3 G5 team over the past few years. They won by an average of 12 points in that game. So for me, it's go Tops. I'm all in. The BP projections do not like this. They have it under a field goal. What do you have it at, Boggs?
By the way, you're right. It's Rodney Tisdale, not Ricky. I don't know why I was thinking it was Ricky. It said I looked up his name, basketball player. So maybe I'm mixing that up from a while back, but it is Rodney. So my bad on that. But I'm going to take SMU here, plus the points. And that's because I don't really trust either one of these teams. I think I don't know if Rodney Tisdale is good. Southern Miss defense has been better against the pass and the run as well. And they rank 4th in turnovers this year at plus, I think it was plus 18. Mm-hmm. So, no, plus more than that because WKU is 96 with 18 given. So I think maybe it was 26 that they had. For whatever reason, I didn't write it down. But Southern Miss has been good enough offense to score points against Western Kentucky. That's not my concern at all with Southern Miss. They should be able to stick in this game with a high-paced offense as well. But we haven't seen opt-outs, right? Charles Huff is leaving to take this Memphis job. OC Blake Anderson is taking over. So I'll say right now, my pick is going to be Southern Miss because we're getting points, right? That's the only reason I really like them. I want the team. When I don't trust both the teams, I just want to take the points. But if Braylon Braxton leaves and he doesn't play in this game, which we'll know more by the time we get there. We haven't heard anything about him leaving now. If he leaves, I think Southern Miss crumbles. So right now it's going to be Southern Miss. But like I said, it's without a lot of I don't nearly have the confidence you have about this game and your boy Rodney Tisdale in this one. But I will take SMU just because I'm getting the points here.
Look, I get it, and thank you for putting a little respect on my boy Rodney's name right there. I will say, like, Southern Miss, Boggs, if you flash back about a month and a half ago, they were really supposed to be the favorite coming out of the other side of the Sun Belt to go face JMU in that championship game. They crumbled down the stretch. I just think all the gas is out of the tank, specifically now with Huff leaving. Like, I can't believe with how they really performed down the stretch that he got that job in the first place. Like, Charles Huff must be a great interviewer. He must know that all his weaknesses are also his strengths when they all ask that backwards question.
Isn't he a Saban disciple?
He is. I
think teams just want to get their hands on Saban disciples.
Look, I get it. And, like, I don't think Tisdale is as good of a quarterback as Maverick MacGyver. Definitely doesn't have as good of a name as MacGyver did. But he's at least, I mean, dude, like he's been in big games.
Rodney Tisdale sounds like a great NASCAR name, man.
Yeah, it ain't bad. It ain't bad. Or like an actor. I see like kind of an actor out of that too. But like, dude, he's been to Death Valley at night, man. Like I think he's played in some big games here. So I'm ready to fire up Rodney here. Let's go WKU, baby. Go Tops. Go Tops. All right, and let's go ahead and round it out with another bowl game that, we always get these strange matchups, these weird occurrences. We talked about it all night long. I don't think it gets any stranger than the Frisco Bowl kicking off at 9 p.m. Eastern time from the Ford Center at the Star, a.k.a. Boggs, the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. This is where this game's taking place. There were renovations due to the usual stadium this is taking place at, so we're going to the Cowboys practice facility. The 10-3 UNLV Rebs, they are now 6.5-point favorites over the 8-5 or 8-4, Ohio Bobcats. This line has opened at 4.5. It has swung 2 points and even swung a point today when head coach Brian Smith, who was on leave after his first year at the program, he has now been fired for serious misconduct.
We still have no idea what that is, by the way.
No.
And by the way, what is with us recording the day a guy gets fired in a weird situation? That happened to us with Sharon Moore in Michigan. Last week, we had no idea about the details. We were like at the tail end, and then Sharon Moore got fired. So, yeah, very weird occurrences here.
All I'm going to say is I think hopefully Brian Smith handles it a little better than Sharon did, just because.
Already has.
You losing, well, I love Ohio. I think losing that gig is not as, detrimental to your life as maybe losing the Michigan job. Not as high profile and scrutinized for sure.
Let's hope it's nothing nearly as bad.
Yes, absolutely. And, we're not really going to touch on that, but just. Like, I hope everyone's doing okay. Like his family and him.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's all right now. So
yeah. So that was a bad
tragedy,
bad situation. And with Brian Smith out, Boggs, like this could mean we see more opt-outs for Ohio over the next week. We have no idea right now as this window's about to open for them. They ran the ball, though, at a top 10 clip on the backs of their quarterback Parker Navarro and their running back Sai Brunkua. He led the MAC in rushing yards and in touchdowns, was quite the upgrade over what they had last year in the backfield there. And UNLV, they delivered a 10-3 record in Dan Mullen's first season returning as a head coach in college football. Their quarterback, Anthony Calandria, this guy was sensational this year. He led the conference in nearly every single metric from a passing standpoint. Also a really good rusher. He was named the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. They have no opt-outs. The only injury is to their tight end, Varkey's Gums, who also missed the Mountain West Championship game a week ago. Boggs, I hate to do it. I love Ohio. I love the people. I love the school. I love the bars downtown there in Marietta. I got to do it, though. BP projections, they're with me as well. Setting this line closer to 7.5. Give me, after weeks and weeks, they're one of my first bets of the season, UNLV Rebs. They did not cover. I'm getting back invested, baby. Let's go UNLV. Come on, Danny. Didn't
you open the show by saying I can't go back on these teams that I bet? I promised I wouldn't bet on, who was it earlier in the show?
It was Carson Beck, but I never said I wouldn't go back with UNLV, but they definitely scared me for a while, but this is the spot. Come on, Danny.
I'm with you on this one, by the way. It's UNLV, and it's not particularly close, right? It's too many weird swirling things within this Brian Smith. Up until today, we didn't even have an explanation of why he was put on leave. We still don't know why he's been fired, but we know he has been fired. At least there's no ambiguity there. But even beyond that, right, I do think that this is a game that potentially Ohio could have competed in. They do have very good rush offense. UNLV's rush defense has been awful all year long. But I just think we have a much better graded team here, 49-79 in UNLV's favor. We have a much higher roster strength team in UNLV over Ohio, and 55-81 is the number there. UNLV has been awful against the run, but they've been able to run everyone without a decent defense off the field this year. That's just what they have done. So Ohio should be able to run, but I don't think they're going to be able to slow down Calandria like Boise State and the weather did in their last game. So hard to say because it is a weird spot for Ohio, but give me the Rebs. I'm laying this 4.5. Is it still 4.5 or has it ticked up again to 5.5, 6.5?
It's 6.5 everywhere now.
Yeah, so
That's what I took them at.
I'm gonna take it at anything below 9.5.
Yeah,
9.5 and below, I'm fine taking UNLV. Yep. I don't know what's going on with Ohio. I think we are going to get more opt-outs, and this is just an ugly situation for them. So, yep, give me UNLV. I'll lay those points.
Parker Navarro, if this is our last game together, brother, I appreciate everything you've done for me, and it brought a lot of joy to a lot of Action fans over the previous years, but it is time to fade you. It is time to fade you. And it's also time, Boggs, for our best bets of the week. Where are you heading this week, my friend?
Man, I am going to go back to the under in Washington State and Utah State. This defense for Washington State, yes, there are some questions here, but I just think they're going to be able to slow down Utah State. I think this one is going to be an ugly haymaker type of a game where maybe you see some big plays, but not a lot of long, sustained scoring drives. I think there's going to be some field goal kicking as well. So give me the under in Washington State and Utah State.
I actually really like how this card is setting up for me, Boggs. I love UNLV. I like WKU a lot. Ole Miss is going to be fun on that alt total. My biggest bet and my best bet of the weekend, though, it is that teaser play, Alabama versus Oklahoma, under 48.5 points. I just think their defenses are both very, very good. The offense is both over underwhelming. I think we see some crowd noise involved in this one, maybe a little sloppy play out of the gates for two teams coming off a little bit of a rest here. And then that second half, that teaser, JMU plus 28.5 versus Oregon. I think the running in this game just does not allow Oregon to get over 4 touchdowns. JMU, I think, will have a little bit of pop, a little bit of grit, and a little bit of showing just, hey, we belong to be here. We are the best G5 team in the country, and hey, maybe we even make things a little uncomfortable for Dan Lanning and company by halftime. Folks, real quick reminder, please track these bets and get line alerts straight to your device by downloading the free BettingPros app today. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in just one simple spot. You can easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and of course parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get a 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium by downloading the app now at bettingpros.com/apps using the promo code JUICE and activating your trial on the upgrade screen. All right, and that's going to do it for us on this episode of the Betting Pros College Football Show. Boggs, he'll be back with you for his best bets and his player prop picks episode on Friday. I'll also be live with Bogman right here on the BP YouTube channel and the Fantasy Pros Twitch account for the first half of that OU Alabama game this Friday night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern time for an in-game betting experience. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. We're going all in, baby. I can't wait. I'm going to wake up hungover the next day. It's going to be great. The holiday break is here for many of us, so we're going to celebrate that with you in the college football playoff start. Let us know down in the comments below your favorite picks for any of the games we handicapped today. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button for us and subscribing to the channel if you're new. For Scott Big Time Bogman, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.